which the established OEMs still need to do. I think also from a CO2 reduction standpoint, even in this depressed economic environment, you're seeing places like China and Europe not backing off CO2 reduction targets, which are important for electrification. And I think finally, investors are saying, listen, there are new products coming forward, whether it's the Cybertruck or the heavy-duty truck. Those are all incremental products. They're not replacing other products in their lineup. And then to your second point, it is around electrification going forward. It is going to be a natural demand, but also enhanced by either government incentives or CO2 reduction. So I think it's a combination of both those. And I think the stock is heading higher.
Thanks for joining us once again. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're a repeat visitor, welcome back. Please take time to like and subscribe so you don't miss any content that might be useful. So today's talk is really focused on r/ at the recent earnings announcement. The thing about earnings is that there are a number of ways that this cuts, as well as how it affects different constituencies. The hedge funds, etc., love anything they can trade. So up, down, sideways, anywhere, as long as there's action, money can be made there. It's my assessment of things that the trading grade for the traders for Tesla got a C to a C+ range. So what that would mean is that the numbers that we saw were reflective of okay to good numbers, but not the whisper number or the giant number that would push the stock significantly higher. So it turns out that there are two ways that one can evaluate, let's say, in the short term. The first way to evaluate is the rearview mirror. What numbers did we just see? And the next way to evaluate is a forward view mirror in terms of, are there things coming up that are going to be significantly impactful of the company, and successfully so. So as we know, the answer is Cybertruck, and the ramping of the Semi will nicely add growth revenue to the company, as Mr. Fields was talking about on CNBC. So the issue right now is that I decided to do a show before we get a clear message from the analysts and the large institutions that are holders of the stock, because I think from an institutional standpoint, Tesla's more like a B to a B+ in terms of what's going on right now. The reason not to the A is the slow ramp of the new production facilities, particularly in Germany, where there's a lot of demand. But I think that the large institutions who are the largest holders are more future-oriented than the traders are. So I kind of see a sort of negative view initially from the traders. And then what I expect to have happen is that if the institutions decide that the backward view is okay, and then the forward view is actually positive, I think we could see a situation where the large institutions start buying and the traders have to dive back in to get ahead of it. And they always say that we knew it all along, the buyers would return and things would be fine. So it is painful to be a positive sayer when we're seeing negative moves on the stock, but I really think that everything that's going on and the potential for new revenue that doesn't affect current demand, all of that I think is quite positive, again, as Mr. Fields pointed out, which is why I chose that quote. The true determinant of how the stock does is what the largest funds and their analysts have to say and whether they choose to buy or sell. Again, the grade we give them is For hedge funds, obviously it's a CC plus based on the decline of the stock. But I really think for large institutions, the grades would be like B or B plus. Why am I saying that? We would begin adding decent revenue from newly introduced semi and the charging structure those fleets will purchase. B, the June start of the Cybertruck will also add a new small then large revenue boost. C, certain markets like Europe will see solid sales as others stumble and demand remains strong for Tesla. D, China is now selling well again with the COVID opening. The slow ramp of the new factories and higher rates are definitely headwinds, but the good long-term action bodes well for the company and the stock. With all the bad news we saw in terms of stock declining and the markets declining, it just seemed as though there's a question, was Tesla going out of business almost? And the answer is no, that's not the case. I just wanted to note that any solid signs of growth returning across all these areas means we see a very nice move for the stock going forward. It is painful being the voice of reason during downward vibe zone. So, yes, the stock price is down, and there are a number of variables. One of the things that I find strange is there's such a media negativity when it comes to Tesla. It's mind-blowing. So it just seems the amplification of anything negative seems to be the one opportunity for media to come after and attack Tesla. And I really like the opportunity to move away from sort of negative or positive and stay neutral and try to just work with data that we have on the table. In particular, the data that we have now that we're working with is the fact that Tesla's revenue was up 40% last year during a very difficult year with COVID and other issues. In the final quarter, they were up 18%. So this is another reason why there is growth, and what you're paying for with any stock with a higher market cap as Tesla has is the fact that they're currently growing, and you can see future growth that validates the growth of the company and the growth of the stock at the same time. So I would argue that there are some bad things out there that I described, but I do believe that Tesla is in a great position to do extremely well going forward. And I'm not a believer in stock being this low. I think it's a good value right now, given all the new elements of what we see coming on for Tesla. I would say that the one fly in the ointment that I see that Tesla seems to be addressing is Elon having taken on Twitter and having a lot going at the same time means there was a comment that he made where he asked when his beta would be ready of the Cybertruck, which he needs to approve prior to going to production. Well, I guess you could say it's good that he wants to let those executives do their thing, but the challenge with that is the Cybertruck really represents the next future block of growth for the company. So I almost feel like Elon needs to be a part of the team that's helping to finish that off so that there's no delay in moving it into production once it's set to go. So it's nice to see the introduction of the Chinese executive to help with expediting production. And so I'm looking forward to everything Tesla is doing accelerating in speed, because Elon had a pattern of arriving on Thursdays to land his helicopter and then really getting into short and long-term decisions that he needed to be a part of, and having someone that can sort of make the decision and not have to rely on Elon's arrival from other projects, I think is a really great situation for the company. So overall, I'd say we're in good shape, and I look forward to some great numbers generated by large holders being satisfied and having good reasons why they should buy more. And we'll see if that's the case, but I believe that's what we're going to see over the next couple of weeks. Obviously, when earnings arrive at the end of the month, that'll shift things as well. We'll have comments there because we'll also have more, work with feedbackable information to work with. Thanks for joining us. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Tschüss, au revoir, lahit road, hoda hafez, draziche, nihama, kombawa, Japanese, heido, Swedish. And in Jamaica, we say enough respect, walk good man. Have a good day, and thanks for joining us, and bye for now.